Hey writers, welcome back. Today our focus is going to be on writing a fable. So today writers will focus on a fable that you want to tell. We're going to use the organizer to help set up our story and also think about the anchor chart to identify a lesson or a moral that you want your story to have. And if you begin writing your story, which today our focus is really just on filling out that organizer to help us, but if you do decide to begin writing your story, think about all we've learned in writing so far to help tell your story using those transition words and those sensory details to really give your writing that great description. So, um, we have an example of the planning guide that we're going to use or that organizer. And a way you can set this up in your journal, I'm going to show you a way in just a moment, but we can have this up just to keep referencing this. And so I'll show you how I use this to help me plan my story today. But let's take a look really quick as to how I set mine up in my journal. So what I did really quick was I just wrote moral or lesson, and here's where I'm going to pick my lesson. My setting, I'm going to label my setting, and then my characters. I'll just write their name down here and then give them a little description here. I think I'm going to have 3 characters, so I'll be able to write them there. And then I can write my problem down here and just jot down some notes for my beginning, middle, end. So that when I go to begin writing my story, whether if that's today or if I choose to do it a little bit later, I have all of my brainstorming right here just to get myself started. So I first want to pick a lesson or a moral in my story because I think that will set up the rest of my story very well. So out of this chart that I have here for us, I think I'm going to choose one from the chart, and I'm actually going to pick kindness. So my lesson or moral is kindness. My story might show a few other things too, but I think kindness is going to be the center of my story. And I'm just going to choose actually school as the setting. That makes it kind of easy. Um, and then I'll just give my characters some random names. We'll do Bob, we'll do Joe, and Jessica. How about that? Pick those and give him a little description. I think Bob, he's going to be our bully of the story, someone who's not so nice. Then I'm going to pick Joe, and we're going to make him, he's going to be sad and kind of lonely. And then we'll have Jessica be friendly and welcoming. Maybe you can already see where my story's going. Now, since Joe is the sad and lonely kid, I think we're going to choose him to have the problem, and no one really wants to play with Joe. Joe's maybe new and kind of alone, so Joe has no one to play with. He wants to leave school. He just wants to go home. Bummer. That's sad. So, in thinking about my events of this story, I'm just going to bullet point something that's going to happen. So, in the beginning, they're going to go to recess. I'm not really going to write down big sentences. I'll save that for my first draft. Is at recess, and Joe has no one to play with. Has no one. He's sitting on a bench, alone. Okay, so that sets up, really gives us an idea of where we're at. We're at school because they're at recess. Joe has no one. He's sitting on a bench all alone. In the middle, Bob's going to come over. Bob's going to make fun. And he's going to run off and play kickball. And Bob's going to show off his skill at kickball. He's just going to show off his skills. And then we're going to think about Jessica and how she's going to be friendly and welcoming to Joe. What I think she's going to do is Jessica invites Joe to play kickball. And we're going to say Joe kicks a grand slam. So he kicks and all the kids get to score in on his team. And then at the end, Bob is feeling sad because he's not as good anymore. And maybe Joe shows him how. So here's my story. I'm ready with my moral, my lesson, my setting, my characters, the description. I had a problem, and the beginning, middle, end of what happened. So I am now ready to write my story. And I think I'm going to go and do just that as I leave you today. On the next page, I'm going to start my story. So if you finish your organizer pretty quick today, feel free to begin writing your story, your fable, and sharing that lesson or that moral with your audience, and use the tools that you have to help you set your organizer up well and your story up well. Good luck. Take a picture when you're done. Can't wait to see.